I'm old enough to remember Brentwood. I'm old enough to remember when it was Meridian.
I lived in that area and drove by the two hospitals as I grew up.
You know, it doesn't surprise me that they've made it 50 years.
Quite an achievement, two doctors going out on their own and deciding to build a hospital. I mean, who would do that nowadays?
While in Washington, I heard President Eisenhower speak on our nation's needs, and he said the hospitals of today should be built on the periphery in the suburban areas, and the major hospitals should be in the center of the city.
Dream, 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 dream.
Moved by the words of President Eisenhower and driven by a passion to practice osteopathic medicine, Dr. Ted Klassen set out to build something rare, an osteopathic hospital. Osteopathy emphasized the teachings of Dr. Andrew Taylor Still, which supported the human body's ability to heal itself and utilized medical treatment only when it complemented or enhanced the natural healing process. Even though it was the 1950s, osteopaths like Dr. Klassen were not allowed to perform their practice in a traditional allopathic hospital. So Dr. Klassen set out to build his own hospital. But where? Dr. Klassen's search brought him to an empty field in the village of Warrensville Heights, just a few miles from his Slavic village home. It was there Dr. Klassen saw the glimmers of hope that his dream could indeed come true. His next hurdle? Money.
He had discussions with George Gunn, the original Cleveland Trust. With a handshake, they raised $50,000 to start the Brentwood Construction Company, which was the beginning of the hospital.
Ironically, at nearly the same time and at the same location, another team of doctors, led by Joseph Tamarkin, were looking to build an allopathic hospital. Much like Klassen, Dr. Tamarkin and his team had also faced adversity in practicing medicine. Their vision was to create a hospital of their own, offering traditional methodologies.
They wanted to practice medicine, and they wanted to be able to practice the way they felt it should be.
So Tamarkin and his team sought to build an acute care facility that would serve the increasing number of residents in southeastern Cuyahoga County. The fact that another hospital was going up within shouting distance didn't seem to dampen their spirits. In fact, Tamarkin was more determined than ever to turn his dream into a reality. In 1956, Dr. Klassen and his team broke ground on Brentwood Hospital, a $1.5 million facility, admitting its first patients on January 23, 1957.
I can remember the day that the hospital opened. I helped push a broom.
Dr. Klassen was here putting down tiles, and he had friends and neighbors and patients cleaning the floors, getting it ready to open. And it was the same thing next door at Suburban. They literally built it themselves.
That same year, on October 17, 1957, Suburban Hospital opened for business. As the hospitals began providing medical care to the community and the patient rooms of both filled to capacity, they each struggled to make ends meet.
We were always out of beds. They would put patients in the hallways. When we got really desperate, they would put patients in the kitchen alcove.
Insurance companies were slow to reimburse the hospitals. Dr. Tamarkin sought financial help for Suburban from a colleague.
He said, "We're running out of money," which was not uncommon. And I took out a bank loan so they could pay the employees.
Help for both hospitals was just around the corner from an unexpected yet powerful resource. During the 60s, a dedicated team of volunteers formally organized at Suburban to raise money and community awareness. The Women's Auxiliary spent countless unpaid hours in and out of the hospital, ensuring its growth and success.
We committed to a pledge of $100,000, and that gave the ability of defraying some of the costs.
Meanwhile, Brentwood's volunteers were equally as passionate. The Brentwood Guild, which formed prior to the hospital's opening, took a hands-on grassroots approach to raising money for the hospital they love so dearly.
So we started having card parties. We used to do handwork and then sell that. We used to have, open house at the hospital where we could sell those different things. Anything that made money, that's what we did.
The 1970s were a time of growth on both campuses. Suburban oversaw the construction of a medical office building and became one of the first hospitals in the greater Cleveland area to dedicate a suite to short-stay surgery. Brentwood introduced the first paramedic training program in the state and became a clinical teaching center for the Ohio University College of Osteopathic Medicine. Students not only took classes, but began residencies.
Brentwood was ahead in many areas. One was the pre-hospital care, certainly. We were forerunners. We sat on the initial development of all the treatment protocols. There's no question that the art is better practiced where it is taught.
By the 80s, small community hospitals were collaborating with major medical centers. Suburban joined Meridia Health System in 1986. The move led to more funds and better equipment. Brentwood continued on their own. Finally, in 1994, after 37 years of being neighbors, Brentwood merged with Suburban and was renamed South Pointe Hospital.
It was just a perfect fit for the two hospitals next door to each other to become one.
Actually, it's been a wonderful marriage. There's been some wonderful physicians that we work with even today.
Different cultures and philosophies began working as one. This unification further strengthened when in 1997, South Pointe became a regional hospital for the world-renowned Cleveland Clinic.
There's no question that the history, tradition, and heritage of South Pointe, which is two hospitals coming together to create one that's greater than the individuals, is what the Cleveland Clinic Health System is about.
As the clock ticked forward into the new millennium, South Pointe set the stage for the future, building a $40 million West Wing with an expansive lobby where patients are welcomed in an elegant and healing environment, and a state-of-the-art surgery center.
When we combined surgery to one facility, it was much more convenient. It was much more productive for us. We were excited because we had a brand new building.
A legacy of education continues, with South Pointe being one of the largest osteopathic teaching hospitals in the state. Future leaders in medicine are trained in the new Theodore Classen Education Center.
There's been a lot of commitment, a lot of good people in terms of the teaching and the nurturing of young physicians coming through to provide health care to the citizens of Cleveland and Ohio.
And with a national nursing shortage, South Pointe is helping to prepare for the future.
One of the things that we wanted to do is partner with our friends at Huron Hospital to develop that branch here at South Pointe, develop some scholarships for individuals who are interested in going into nursing here. I think it's a win-win for the community and for our health system.
From the beginning, Brentwood and Suburban hospitals were built on two very different ideals, yet they shared the same vision: a better way to provide health care to the community. Today, with the combined resources of osteopathic and allopathic practices, South Pointe Hospital is stronger than ever and continues that legacy of innovation, excellence, and commitment to those they serve.
I've been really impressed with the type of staff that we have, the professionalism, the caring that I've seen.
We try to put that special touch, give that special touch to anyone who comes and visits with us.
It's a family. It's a family of doctors, nurses, the staff, and everyone working together and feeling very closely knit.
If I go to another area of the hospital, I'll see people I've known for 25, maybe even 45 years. That have known me since I was a little girl, wandering around the halls with my dad.
I really enjoy the institution and the people I work with, and I think what it stands for, which is really helping the community and really trying to take very, very good care of our patients and their families.
I've been in their place. I have had to depend on someone to help me. And it's really great when you have that trust and when somebody cares, and you know whether they do or not.
It's right in the community. If something should happen, you know you're right here.
A very good satisfaction of helping somebody.
It is a hospital for all people, of all incomes, of all socioeconomic backgrounds, of all races and ethnicity. It's just a wonderful place to be. South Pointe has just been a godsend.